Why would you do things that are intentionally hurting the country? And I'm sorry, it's not over the top to surmise what might be motivating him is he just doesn't like the country. And
Okay,
I don't think
James.
that's over the top at all.
Welcome to Drive on Times Radio to James Carville, who was the lead strategist in Bill Clinton's campaign in 1992 and has been since and before that one of the leading voices in discussions of political strategy in the United States. James, welcome to you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. One of my favorite cities. I'll
Now,
come
James,
in here in a couple of weeks.
look forward to seeing you. Maybe join us in the studio, James. There's an open door for you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think I'm going to have lunch at Scott's, you know.
We'll line up a glass of scotch for you too,
There you go.
whatever it takes.
All right,
I want to
yeah,
ask you this, James. I said earlier that it was astounding to see, first of all, just less than 48 hours ago, the news that Donald Trump had cut off arms supplies to Ukraine. Now we have the news that intelligence has been cut off too. The cutting arms would weaken Ukraine in the space of weeks. Cutting intelligence threatens Ukraine now. I'm talking to a Ukrainian politician a moment ago telling me this is going to cost Ukrainian lives. I said I was shocked. James, are you shocked?
No. In terms of what we think of as transatlantic alliances, in terms of what we think about freedom and, free trade, free travel, all of the things that we've come to take for granted, this is catastrophic. There's no other way to. I wish I could give you a more optimistic assessment, but the gloomiest assessment is probably not gloomy enough.
Right. Now, look, I mean, we saw, didn't we? We saw Donald Trump echoing Vladimir Putin's lies last week. We saw America voting with Russia at the United Nations. And now we see this. Now, knowing the political climate in America, what kind of effect is this going to have on the president's support, first of all, among Republicans in Washington and in the country? That's if it will have an effect.
Well, I think it will, all right? But the problem is he's got another 3 years and 10 months left in office, more than that. I think the big market dates in American politics are April 1st, Wisconsin Supreme Court, then early November when Virginia and New Jersey go to post. I suspect the Democrats will win all of those and suspect they'll win the House back at a minimum in 26. But in the meantime, we have the United States has decided that it wants to hang out with North Korea, Russia, and Belarus. And we've turned our back on South Korea, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, Thailand, Vietnam, the EU, United Kingdom, Brazil, Mexico, Canada. Okay, it is hard. It would be hard for anybody to listen to this show to overestimate how catastrophic this is to people who think as we do.
Yeah. Well, I just wonder how widely that kind of outrage, as it were, is spread. How much movement has there been in the approval ratings of the president and his administration since the inauguration, with all the upheaval that has come since then?
Well, it's been some deterioration, but compared to where other presidents were at a comparable time, it's really unimpressive.
Right.
Usually, people at not even 2 months into the administration are clocking in 60, 65%. He's, depending on where you go, 48. All right. But it's going to continue to decline. These town halls are totally organic. They mean something. And honestly, I think, if anything, Poland is a little bit of a lagging indicator. But there's a lot of work to be done. And how we oppose this and where we pick and choose our ground are going to really, really be important. But, man, I love going I go to Ireland a lot. I got a lot of relatives there. I go to London 2 times a year. I like to go, like anybody else. I like to go to the European continent. And it just breaks my heart. And I think the honest truth, I think he does not like the United States. He does not like Western democracies. He thinks that we're inefficient, that we're too tolerant, that we let too many people in that he doesn't approve of. He thinks the women in the West are pushy. I think the man genuinely does not like European or traditional American values, the way that we look at the world. And to not come to grips with that and understand that, I think, is to miss what's going on right now.
And yet, James, in the U.S. presidential election, not that long ago, just back in November, President Trump and his party, he won the majority of the American vote. It was a very narrow margin, I know, but he got a majority, and he took the Senate, he took the House, he took. Well, there's also, by the way,
kind of the House. Actually, we kind of picked up a seat, if you will, if you think. But we lost by 1.5, and I would point out the fact that we had to play the Super Bowl, we had to play the World Cup with our seventh best goalkeeper. All right, so and we lost by 1.5. But I'm not worried about that we have a lot of talent. I'm worried about to 2028. I'm worried about getting to 2028.
Oh, right. Okay. Look, I heard you say a couple of days ago on air, which is one reason I was really keen to talk to you today. You suggested that the Trump administration may be on the verge of collapse in the space of weeks. Seen from here, I see no signs of that at all. Tell me, what did you mean by that?
Okay. Well, when you think of collapse in a parliamentary system, you think of something something different. When you say it's going to collapse, you're talking about they're going to have to call a new election.
No, sure.
Of course, it's collapsing right now. I mean, first of all, he is at a historic low of any president at this point in his presidency. Secondly, the economic news coming out, not just in the markets, okay, but beyond that, unemployment claims. Wait till the GDP growth number comes out for the first quarter. It's going to be really not that good. We're starting to see real softening. I mean, Walmart is warning of a softening of the computer. Target just issued another warning today. This really happened in the United States, and so I know this is afternoon talk time, but this actually happened. You can check me out. The Secretary of Agriculture was asked about the high cost of eggs. Remember, Trump famously ran it. He was going to get the cost of eggs down. He's done no such thing. And I answered, well, people should raise their own chickens in the backyard. Right. That's right. You heard me correctly, and you heard me accurately. When asked about the high cost of eggs, the Secretary of Agriculture of the United States of America responded, maybe people need to raise chickens in their backyard. That happened.
Right. I just wonder what the fallout from that will be with the American public. I'm guessing pretty much half the public would say, good idea, I'll go and buy a chicken, or at least it will sound reasonable to them.
I don't think so. Okay. Look, it takes a while for things to accumulate. But there's, it's famous, I doubt if she ever said it, but, let them eat cake. Yeah, I mean,
Marie Antoinette, famous.
Yeah.
Look, James, let me ask you this: when I look at the opposition in Washington, I mean, seen from here, the Democrats, the Democratic Party, and their people in the House and the Senate, they seem almost to be bystanders, spectators, with all that's going on. Is that fair?
Correct. No, it's not fair. If anything, when they try things, it backfires. But last night was a good example. Al Green walking out of his cane or putting those paddles up like it's an auction. This is my fundamental belief that I have never seen my country in 80 years at greater peril than it is right now, today, as we speak. And I'm urging the Democratic opposition to act like it, to be very determined, all right, very strategic. Don't go in front of buildings and scream and yell and hold up things, and assert yourself with the limited power you have, and do it in a dignified way, because people are scared. They're really afraid. This is not, I didn't like the Iraq War. I thought it was a bad idea. History's proven me correct, proven me wrong with other things. But I never thought that George W. Bush hated the United States or detested Western Europe. I thought it was a blunder that they did because they thought it worked. I think what Trump actually is trying to do is hurt the country.
Yeah,
I really do. I understand what I just said. I think the President of the United States wants to hurt the United States. because I don't think he likes
Okay.
our, like pluralism or anything else.
Okay, James, to that large portion of America who would say that what you're saying is just over the top, it's wildly exaggerated. What do you say when you say America is in peril?
Well,
In peril
okay,
of what?
in peril of losing what the customs, the traditions, the
Yes,
Constitution,
yes.
the relationships that we've made. I mean, I'm sorry. He says he's above the law. He says he don't want to follow the Constitution. He's destroying the Western alliance as we utterly looking at the Western alliance. In a country that has traditionally built alliances, have been part of, whatever it is, the first half of the 20th century was not a good for European nationalism. Let's just say it didn't work very well and leave it at that. Okay, we've had peace, and now and I don't think he likes that. We're talking about trade war with Canada and Mexico. The North American trading bloc is one of the most successful trading blocs in the world, and we're destroying that. Why would you do that? Why would you do things that are intentionally hurting the country? And I'm sorry, it's not over the top to surmise what might be motivating him is he just doesn't like the country. And
Okay,
I don't think
James.
that's over the top at all.
Okay, James. I mean, your country we know is just so polarized. What you're saying, in a way, in a curious way, comes as no surprise. James Carville, it's been fascinating to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us, and do come and talk when you're in London, which may not be that
I
far.
will.
Far away.
I love the Times of London. I love the FT. I like everything over there. The place agrees with me.